G'day. I hope everybody's doing okay out there in the crazy world, right? It's the 6th of August today. So we're 2 days away from the height of the Lionsgate portal, the 888. And that for me is a pretty special time. I don't know. I always feel a lot of awesome energy around the Lionsgate. And I think because this year we've got a 888, which lends a bit of extra power. Now, today I want to talk about frequency or frequency wars, and what does it mean? What is this whole energy, frequency, vibration thing? I think I spoke about it in the previous video, but I just kind of want to go a bit deeper because it's also different, the truth of our reality. It's also different from what we've been led to believe, as, where everybody on planet Earth is starting to realize, okay? A frequency war, an information war. Light carries information. Everything is light information. And where we're existing on this current little speck of Earth, the frequencies here are manipulated by design to keep us trapped. Okay. And it's not that we're trapped in a specific location on Earth or within Earth or whatever. It's that we're trapped in a specific frequency within ourselves. Okay. So we've all heard, as above, so below, as within, so without. And it's very easy to kind of dismiss it as being a bit woo-woo, a bit out there, and, not necessarily connected to anything that we could possibly have any control over or any say over. We're all kind of, believing ourselves to be stuck down here as these kind of passive victims of things which happen to us, not realizing that everything that we perceive to be happening to or around us is actually created by us, and B, for us. There is nothing that manifests in the kind of 360 degrees movie screen, which is your, the projection of your inner reality. There's nothing that you have not subconsciously or consciously kind of dwelt upon and given thought to, so that it will kind of manifest in your reality. It's a bit like, I think I might have said this before, when you're pregnant, you'll notice that there are just pregnant women everywhere. I won't say pregnant people, because only women can get pregnant. It's all in the pelvis and everything else. So yeah, it's very important to recognize and to realize and accept responsibility for the things that show up in our reality. Having said that, there is the, personal, individuated reality that each of us create. And then there's also the collective reality that we've all agreed to create together, to create this kind of structure in space, in the time space now moment, for us to be able to experience our journey through. It would be a bit boring, wouldn't it, if we didn't have the experiences and the stories and the backgrounds and the settings and all the characters in the movie. And pay attention to every single person that you meet, the strangers as well as those that are close to you, because they're all going to be reflecting back, mirroring back aspects of you that probably need attention. Okay, so let's just forget for a second that we're living in this kind of matrix that's been kind of hijacked, and none of it's quite really working the way it was originally supposed to. And let's just start taking a bit of self-responsibility, which is probably going to be one of the main themes of what I'm going to talk about. And very soon, I've got one more book that I'm just finishing. I am going to be presenting, these ideas from the Joseph communications, which to me feel very connected to the same messages as, say, Saint Germain or Yeshua Sananda. All right. There's literally infinite groups of soul groups who have come to be of assistance at this time, and they can be anyone, they can have all kinds of names. It doesn't have to just be, certain specific soul groups that you're hearing about from others. You have your own guides and your own experience from previous lives and incarnations, and yeah, it's a never-ending journey, and this is just one little speck of it that we're currently extricating ourselves from. The Joseph books, the main premise is about something that they call the fall. And the whole point of that is that, we decided as the baby angels to do things a certain way, and we made a mistake and separated ourselves from source, creator, and, from our kind of star families, and from the magic and the freedom and the expansion and the beauty and the grace and the love and the compassion and the cuteness and the awesomeness. And at that moment that we got separated through our kind of unwillingness to listen to the elders and our parents, if you will, who created us, through that initial separation, that initial fall, that feeling of loss, that feeling of separation is something that we all carry with us from birth until, and not even until death, because many souls choose to come back, which is another issue, the reincarnation cycle. Is it really a trap, or is it a choice that we make to come back to the earth plane because it has got such a hold? In which case, whether there's a reincarnation trap or not doesn't really matter, because the fact that when we're here on the planet, when we pass, we can't leave because we feel stuck. We feel kind of addicted to Earth and to the intense physicality and the intense experiences that happen here. But the problem is it's at too high a price. There's so much more waiting for us, beyond this 3D Earth plane, all right? Although we're currently kind of in 4D, aren't we? So it's that little digression there about the fall. My point being, I just feel it's a very useful metaphor or analogy to work with in terms of, where we're at and where we're going and how we need to act in these times to ensure that as much light gets injected into the collective field as possible. And it's not coming from outside, and there's no choirs of angels and Yeshua descending upon clouds externally coming to save us. It's us. It's us. We have to be that light. We are the ones that have to activate and ignite that Christ consciousness, which is what it's acting in love and grace with compassion, forgiveness, and patience and understanding for yourself first before everybody else. Okay. It's the oxygen mask. It all starts with the self, the forgiveness, the love, and the acceptance that there's a reason we're here and we can't run away from it. And, you can't run away from yourself. It's time to kind of face your soul, face the inner demons, which are basically all created by us. Although they're created kind of collectively, so it's kind of exaggerated by the collective, but we have a choice whether we choose to buy into it or not. It's quite a long bit of an intro type thing there. But yeah, so it's all about frequency. And basically the frequency of thought that you choose, and trust me, it is not easy. And you might only be able to do it for a minute at a time, but the practice is important. But the frequency you choose is going to dictate how you vibrate, okay? And the vibration attracts other similarly vibrating thoughts or things throughout the cosmos, which are all, entangled, spooky action at a distance and all that. Everything knows, and if you're in the same frequency vibration band as other, sorry, that doesn't really make sense. Thoughts and things, as I just said, that vibrate at a similar frequency are going to show up in your reality. It's just not even, there's no question. Like, that's how it works. It's the quantum physics. That's how it works. And it's a bit like, The Secret and how to, the law of attraction and all that. But the problem is, you set your intention, you work to create a higher frequency, you have a vision in mind of the kinds of things you'd have in your reality that would allow you to have this frequency and to vibrate at this higher state. But the problem is that we get in the way by worrying about when it's coming, or, if it's going to come, or, if it's been 2 weeks and the thought pops up in your head again, well, I haven't met my star twin flame, or, things are not manifesting in my life as I want them to, then it just means that there's a bit of organization that needs to happen in the cosmos in order to, bring those things through into the 3D, this very slow, dense, time-oriented reality. It just takes time for these things to kind of trickle in and form. And so the best way to allow this process to speedily, romp along is to give it the least amount of thought once you've set the initial intention and let it go. It's about having absolute trust and faith and knowing that that's going to be done. If you're appealing to guides, God, the elementals, whatever it is, whether it is because you just want some night, to experience nice weather, you would like to be meeting other like-minded people and starting to get going on some projects and humanitarian stuff and whatever, if it's not happening, you just have to breathe and make sure that, you are keeping your vibration in alignment with that which you are dreaming for, or that which you wish for. And, the best way you can do that is to be in the vibration and just keep adding details to your dream. Just go and hang out in your dream, daydream. That's what they kind of like, slap out of us at school and in life, isn't it? Stop daydreaming. You're just wasting your time daydreaming, when in fact, daydreaming is what we're all about. It's the fundamental, um, it's the fundamental stuff of our existence, is to dream. There's a little sign on above my cooker here that says, a dream is a wish your heart makes. And be careful what you wish for. So how do we access frequency? How do we change our frequency? And it's about moving ourselves from the head mind to the heart mind. The heart mind is the most powerful energy that we have. It's the area of ourselves that we have to kind of get a handle on. Dwelling within the heart space as much as possible is extremely important at this time, and also quite challenging. Very challenging. But one of the best ways you can jump into heart space is by developing a sense of compassion for others who are also struggling at this time, and trying to reach out to people and connecting and uniting and unifying, which is also difficult after the 666 feet apart. And, I've noticed here in the UK, it's very challenging. There's very few people who are open to listen. It's tractor time around here. They're kind of box spreading everything. So yeah, there's two things that we can do. It's dwelling in the heart mind as much as possible, and also learning to calm your central nervous system. learning to relax and to breathe, right? Because if you breathe, you relax. And it's in the relaxed state that you can access the higher frequencies through the state of your nervous system. Your central nervous system houses or is housed, and set in the CNS, the cerebrospinal fluid. And I'm just thinking I've kind of got that wrong. Somebody's going to go, no, it's not. Central nervous system. CSF, central spinal fluid, whatever it's called. Cerebrospinal fluid. I don't know why my brain's gone. That's where the plasma and the goodness is. There's a whole kind of a loop that goes on from the pineal to the coccyx, and it travels through, as I've said before, through the chakras, right? It ascends through the chakras. The energy from the sacral chakra, from the root, from the earth, comes up through the sacral, is activated and energized with the sacred energy. And it goes up through the chakras to be transmuted through each chakra until it reaches the pineal, and then eventually it meets the energy that's coming in through the crown chakra from all that is and all that we are connected to. The problem is we are kind of having to work our way through a lot of dense frequencies that are not natural and are not conducive to our natural frequency settings, which are able to, in a natural state, connect with the frequencies that allow us to climb higher. And, that's a metaphor. It's all within. So we experience higher dimensions, which is basically just the reality at a higher frequency, which is coming from within. Does that make sense? And I need to do lives so I can have people ask questions. So this again is all coming back to the know thyself and go within. And it's like, oh, if you're not there, it's very draining. And there's a lot of resistance that comes from the field. Just to summarize, after the fall, after we end, for whatever reason, it's not relevant at this time what the reason is, because the only thing that matters is that we need to connect and get out of here, and then hold out our hands to as many people as we can for them to be able to have the courage and the strength to go within, face the shadow, and then take steps in their lives toward a better future, a better reality, which is one that you are in control of, that you create or co-create with God. And just know that this is our original state. And even though we are in this heavy, negatively charged polarity reality at the moment, it is still possible to connect. It's just a little bit harder. It takes a bit more of your time. It takes a lot of dedication, willpower, and trust and faith and love, and a sense of really doing it to be in service to the whole, the all, and not just yourself. So know thyself, know thyself, thy soul, know thy soul, and cultivate as much as you can the ability to switch from low frequency to high frequency, because we're going to be dragged down over and over by the field. Each time you raise your head, each time you're raising your frequency, and you're kind of like looking around to see other like-minded light beings that you can connect to, the field, the negative polarity of the field is set to zoom in and swoop in and push you down. It's like you have a swoon of dementors, and I have to laugh at the weather, the crazy cloud cover where I am, and I often feel and get very frustrated, because I feel like, well, I should be able to control the weather, and I get how it works, and I get that the Dewa realm has been, completely manipulated and taken over as well. But I, as a child of God, and a baby angel and a baby God and all of that, surely, and I know I have the power to kind of overcome that, but it's challenging, because the minute a bit of frustration or a feeling of like being targeted, or oh, they're out to get me, they know where I am and they're shooting down frequency weapons on me, well, guess what? That's what's going to happen. And, this is a lesson that I'm really kind of, I don't want to use the words like struggling and battling, right? Because I chose it, but it's a big lesson for me to recognize that the sun is within and not external. And I have to say, I was doing a meditation a couple of months ago when it was particularly dark. It's always pretty dark here. I think it's something to do with the hill, the sacred hill next to me. That's just, there's lots of weird interdimensional activity going on, right? That's bumping up against our realm. We see the effects and not the causes, although we're starting to see the causes, the occult causes more and more as they are becoming less and less occult and they are becoming seen. And it's our choice to, face that head on with love, right? The ultimate superpower in every situation is love and light, which has purposefully been made to seem more hippie and wimpy and weak, when it's in fact the strongest emotion, most powerful emotion. And the most superhero thing that you can do is to learn how to just call in the love, all right, for yourself. Because if you can fill your vessel with light, that's going to emanate out. And the more we are attacked, the more light. So it's a constant process of just, bringing in more and more light and sort of working to, flex those muscles of the pineal, the heart, the solar plexus, which is where you get your energy from to create. And also to kind of like, even if you don't know it's there, even if you can't quite believe it's there, just know we're surrounded by all this magical energy and so many guides and voices and teachers willing and able and waiting to be able to connect with you on a telepathic level and communicate through feelings or through things that pop up in your environment, or even just, telepathic downloads like I get, which is I usually wake up with a whole monologue in my head, and I've noticed that the times that I actually sit and record those, they tend to be pretty cool. And even I'm listening to see, oh, what was that about? And so that's true channeling, the message of your soul group who are anchored on the other side of the veil, holding onto you always as you're here doing that work for God, for freedom, and for the human angelic, for the Dewa realm, which is all of nature, all the animals, the birds, the insects, the flowers, the mountains, the rivers, all of it, that beautiful backdrop that we have when we come here, against which we act out these stories for our soul to learn and grow. And you know I don't think there's been any more challenging experience than the one that we're going through right now and have been going through this whole time. So even the naughty little rebel angels, God's little children who decided that they weren't going to listen, they all want to come back to God. They all want to be full of love. And, the reason that they're doing all these crazy things, it's just like one cosmic temper tantrum. And of course, it's going to be massive and it's going to be overwhelming because we're dealing with a whole reality which is, so huge in comparison to anything that we've ever experienced in this like almost two-dimensional matrix that we've been trapped in. Like we haven't a clue about how huge everything is out there, although I think we're starting to have some idea. So, love, and a very good kind of precursor for love is forgiveness. All right. You can't love if you don't forgive. And we have to cultivate, especially with the times that are just about to, pop up right now, the events and the situations. We have to have empathy and compassion and inner standing for everything in the realm, including ourselves. So on an individual level and on a collective level. Having these gifts, having the ability to vibrate, allows you access to. Oh, hold on, I have a call. I do apologize. Let me just I do apologize for that. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it stopped and started. I don't know if anyway, but anyway, I'll carry on. So having this having the gift of being able to emit love and light, and having your vessel full of the light, which is basically energy of the frequency information from the higher realms, allows you to then, perceive and experience um those realms, and you don't go anywhere. You're not having to pack your house up and move across the other side of the world, and you're not having to, go out and specifically do anything or be anywhere except where you are. And, if that's a really crappy situation that you're in, then it just means you chose um a more challenging situation to overcome. All right. So it's literally about becoming Jedis, and about being able to activate that frequency within yourself, which is going to connect with everybody else in your environment around you. It is a superpower. And from that, all other superpowers will come. But first, you have to have, the real, the Christ consciousness, the ridding oneself of all the negativity and the negative thoughts and the negative belief systems. It's all a choice. You choose your frequency. It's all open there for you. Every choice, every possibility is available to you. But we've been taught that the world operates in a certain finite, small, controlled, kind of like constricted way, and that's all there is. And so if you keep operating within that, that's all you're ever going to experience. And of course, it takes courage to step outside and have a look around and, oh my God, this is crazy. But once you've stepped out and, had a few conversations with yourself, God, and people around you who get it, it becomes much easier, and you start to attract amazing things, but it takes time. It does take time here. Saint Germain talks about precipitation and how, if you really truly believe it, I can turn this pencil into a pencil of gold if I absolutely believe it. And I do believe it. But the thing is, how much attention and time and beautiful high vibrational energy am I willing to focus on this to turn this into gold? And I think the point that Saint Germain was making in his book on alchemy, methods for self-transformation, is it's not about turning the physical things into gold. It's about turning yourself into gold. And then everything else becomes gold. If you're looking out of gold tinted glasses, right, everything's gold. This is how it works. We have a filter that's been placed over our five senses, not just what we hear and what we see, although they do seem to be the main kind of senses, right, that we use. Our sense of smell is so powerful, but we don't pay so much attention to it. And, our sense of touch and taste goes with the smell, right? But for the sight and the sound, unless you're able to imagine and then put some of that beautiful energy into a beautiful reality where everybody has gold, where our cities are built from crystal and exotic, beautiful, crystals and stones and beautiful precious metals and stuff. You should be looking out at a sunset over a landscape that is glittering and full of color, with rainbows dancing upon all the crystal palaces and buildings, and the fire green gold glow of all the trees, which, by the way, are the antenna that bring the energy from the ether into our earth. Hence why they've got rid of all the trees. It's not just about CO2 and oxygen and being green. They are very powerful beings, which were here from the Dewa realm to create this backdrop that we are supposed to be, you know, living this incredible dream of God and creating the most amazing things for the creator to take back, right? But we're stuck and everything's just being everything to do with God, creation, love, life, freedom, expansion, growth, learning, expanding, leveling up. It's all been kind of, you know, clipped. And as we can see right now, we are in the end times and it is game over. But if you're still stuck in the little matrix with all the laws and the rules and the regulations and the square houses and the, you know, Groundhog Day and the 9 to 5 and the reactions that you're so used to of anger and sadness and pity and hello, please, I am that person. Literally have been so overwhelmed by everything that's happened to me. But you know, it's not an excuse. It doesn't matter. I chose, or maybe this was my karma to experience those things. Maybe on the other, you know, in another life, I made those mistakes. And in any case, like I said at the beginning, we're here now, which means that we have something to do with what's going on. We have a responsibility. We're here for a reason. We didn't just accidentally end up here. And so I think at this 888 portal, it's time everybody has a bit of a stern talking to themselves, as I am with myself right now, in letting go of things that don't serve me, belief systems that don't serve me, you know, letting go of this ridiculous phantom fear. It's not real. It exists in my mind. It exists in no one else's mind. It doesn't exist in God's mind. It only exists in my mind as a kind of a leftover vibrational frequency, you know, of all of the trauma and horror and unfairness and injustice and ugliness and cruelty and this sense of like, oh my God, no, this is just wrong. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. This isn't how it's supposed to be. This is not how it's supposed to be. You know, it's okay, great. It's not. We've got that established. It's not meant to be this way. It's supposed to be completely different. And so, what do you think is going to allow us to kind of bring in something that's completely different? Focusing on what we've already got, focusing on all the wars, focusing on, you know, the riots in England, focusing on the awful, ridiculous, chaotic, holographic implant weather, focusing on how everybody's miserable and depressed, focusing on the darkness or focusing on the light, you know, as a creator whose thoughts create reality, even though as an individual, you can only really do it for yourself and those around you, rather than really impact the collective until there's enough of us to flip it, isn't it worth the consideration that the most important thing that we can do in this time is just focus on the light in whichever way possible, and then spend a bit of time dedicating some of that joy if you can find any. And I'm hopefully going to be doing some more silly little videos. I do like to dress up and act and, you know, put on a few little accents like that now, do you know what I mean? And I do my favourite is my great Auntie Agnes now. I'm feeling a bit like David Wilcock with the accents and all that now, but I think I might get myself a nice little woolly hat and a pair of nice Auntie Agnes glasses like she had, and give a bit of Agnes anecdotes, you know what I mean, about how we're all supposed to be living in this reality now. So yeah, we've got to find the joy. We've got to emanate the joy, as weird and as much as it seems to go against the grain, right? Oh my God, well, how am I supposed to be joyful and happy when there's so much misery and suffering? I need to be miserable and suffer with people. I need to be feeling guilty. I need to, you know, give up, sacrifice my happiness because no, it's not like that. It's the opposite is desperately needed. And I guess that's why I keep trying to do these videos and create groups and reach out to people. But I just feel, I don't know, whatever my mission is, it's not quite time for that to be fully exposed or, you know, in the greater realm yet, because many souls are still working through their shadow, the shadow universe that they've created during their time here on Earth, right? You can always spot people who are struggling a bit, because when you come in with light, they just react quite badly to it. And rather than being offended these days, or, you know, They're not very happy, are they? I'm more compassionate, and I kind of, my heart goes out more because I've realized that they're kind of stuck. Um, so yeah, and also it's very easy to take on that energy, which again is why every morning it's important to sit down, connect with your heart, and in whatever way you can, just get those love frequencies and that higher vibrational frequency going, right? And just have, a kind of a directive that you're just going to go out of your way to be as nice, positive, and friendly to as many people as you can throughout your day. It's an incredibly powerful thing to do. We have to live like Jedis. There are no shortcuts, all these kind of like patches and frequency devices and all of that, we have to kind of do it ourselves, because when we pass through the veil, we don't have all of that. And we don't become a whole different person suddenly. Your soul remains your soul. It's only the vessel that is changing at the moment, because we seem to be possibly going through this interesting DNA upgrade. And we know that the DNA creates the form, right? And that it can change in an instant, which is why there are shapeshifters. You change the way you look with your thoughts. When we get beyond the veil, I can have blonde, long, curly hair, and then in another hour, I can make it long, dark, or I can have it all short and purple in one day. And that kind of makes me laugh, because, my whole life I was obsessed with my hair being trendy, and I used to bleach it. It used to be really super short, like a pixie cut, but I was at the hairdresser all the time, constantly messing around with it. Now I just leave it. It does whatever it wants. It's its natural color. And I'm much happier not wasting that time and that energy on making sure that every strand is in place. I can't believe how much time I wasted. But the thing is, I also recognize, this thing that we have, where we're always wanting to have new clothes, and we want to wear. I love to wear something different every day. I've spent a fortune on clothes because I was trying to change the external. I thought that by changing my external would change my vibration, and it kind of does to a certain extent, but only within 3D. Um, in changing your hair, you feel like a new person, right? But we're supposed to be able to do that just within ourselves and have those changes manifest immediately, depending on what vibe we're wanting to emit, or, be at that particular, now moment, as we traverse our way through the cosmos. And if you think about past lives and different beings who are, and, the angelics and our star families, they're just us in an advanced stage, because remember, everything's happening now, and we're just looking out at different other points of the now to see, oh, I'm going to jump into that point, and I'm going to become part of that fractal frequency. And then you're in a whole different reality. It's like, hey, bro, what's this called? Oh, yeah, this is Bali world. And everything's just beaches and, palm trees and non-alcoholic Mai Tais, or whatever your thing is. And everybody's working together to, create beauty in Bali. And then you can just flip, and the next thing, you're actually a dolphin in the Maldives. And that's how it's supposed to be, the experience here. We're supposed to, like Avatar, be able to close our eyes, settle our frequency, connect in with the pineal, see where we want to go. We're connected above. The solar plexus and the heart energy work together as an engine, and you vibrate out of the realm, and you vibrate into another one. You phase out, you phase in. This is exactly how we created it at the beginning, but it was manipulated, or I don't want to say it was, I don't really want to say that it was hijacked anymore, because I think we hijacked it ourselves by getting a little bit, like little kids, when little kids run up and they go, Mom, I want to do this. You're like, no, 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 you can't, because if you do that, this is going to happen. No. And then they do it. And the next thing you hear is the screams and the cries as it's all gone wrong. That's us, still screaming and crying because we're not finding our way back this way in the 3D with all the BS and the patriarchal systems and the separation and the logical left brain, focus. We find our way back through our hearts and through love. And if that just sounds really confusing, just go back to when you were a kid, or just watch children, how trusting and open and loving they are, how they cry and then they're over it, how they're constantly looking to create realms and realities which are not of this one, They bring in the fairy realm, they bring in the higher dimensions, and we just kind of beat it out of them and push them into the little squares. And oh my God, honestly, I can't believe it. I can't believe that my kids went through that process and how ignorant I was. Although I did want to homeschool, but I was kind of outvoted by the rest of the family, which is fine. That's just how it was. Um, but yeah, I mean, just to go back, there are no shortcuts. I think I was just saying, all of these devices and these kind of like workshops and these things that people are saying you can do to ascend, or it's all about you. It's truly, it comes down to each of us being self-aware, self-responsible, and, committing to become masters of our own vessel, because it truly is only about how you respond to your environment and your reality and the things that happen that will dictate what happens next. It's really simple, but it's also really challenging. So how can we achieve these higher dimensional levels that everybody's talking about and people are claiming to be experiencing already? And, I have it in little bits, but I can't maintain it for any more than seconds at a time, perhaps a couple of minutes, sometimes maybe 10. A very high vibration where I'm just almost levitating, floating, and feeling completely connected. And I know in those moments that whatever I focus my attention on is going to receive huge amounts of energy. So I usually am focusing it on certain aches and pains or things within me. But once that's done, I'm projecting it out to family and friends who might need it, to the Dewa realm, wherever it's needed, because we are all one, all one, all one. The one and the all is us. But we are currently stuck in a little fragmented aspect, which isn't really, it's like a corner of the cosmos multiverse which has got stuck and it's been quarantined, and it's because we made a mistake, and it was like, right, hold on, lock the kids down, they've made a mistake. And yeah, all of the galactic wars and everything are just more of what's going on here. So as much as it's super fascinating to hear about our cosmic history, which I love and it's brilliant, there's another level beyond that, which is not about the history and the dates and the numbers and the factions and the groups and the good and the bad. It's about the all, and it's about how we have the ability, if we are conscious of it and we're aware and we set the intention, we have the ability to project that frequency to all. And then the more beings that are doing that, and outside of the earth realm, they're all doing that, right? The positive ones that are aligned with the light and the God, the creator, the source, and the ever expanding outward experience of itself in these different fractalized ways, using the frequencies and the vibrations to guide us, right? And the densities and the dimensions are all just to show us where we are in relation to source, right? How, like, on the earth plane, it's so dense and so heavy and so slowed down, it shows us how far away from God we are. Now, that little nugget of inner standing is from the Joseph communication books, which I really am going to, get sorted to present very soon. Just like I said, I'm reading the last one, which is a whole bunch of other, it's not Joseph, it's a whole bunch of other beings. And this is Michael and his lovely wife, Jane, sharing lots of different messages. I mean, I'm not trying to sell this book at all, but I think I've said before, I've read Saint Germain, Joseph S. Benner, all the new thought movement people, the I Am discourses, looked into the law of one and Ra and the Hermetic principle. And I mean, the list goes on, and to me, this is in layperson's terms. It's a very activating series. My nephew's currently reading it, and he's just finished the first book of 8. And he's like, whoa, I need the next one. He's on a camping trip right now, though, but he said he feels activated and he wants to serve. He just wants to help, light other people up so that they can then light themselves up and then light the way for others. This is what it's about. It's a rescue mission, but we're rescuing ourselves, but we do have help. All right. So how can we achieve these levels? So first off through intention. and your heart's desire. You have to be clear on what it is you want. And, you know, it's like the Seven of Cups, isn't it? With all the different things, all the different possibilities. And right now in the realm, we're being, you know, bombarded with cryptocurrency and med beds and New Earth and military tribunals and, you know, education and hospitals and the police and all these different things, right, that are wrong with the reality, that need to be changed and need to be fixed. How are we going to do it? And it kind of gets you sucked into sitting there thinking, right, I need to create a group and I have to do this and I've got to go out there. No, 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 it's happening. If you're watching this video, and by the way, it's for the lions and the light workers who are maybe struggling a little bit, you know, to fully recognize the light and the mission and to fully, you know, come online as to why we're here and how we need to connect and telepathically transmute everything, you know, do it from within through meditations, right? This is the most powerful thing that we can do. Oh, I lost myself there. I do apologize. The sun's come out, so I'm a bit distracted because it's been quite cloudy. Yeah, so it's about, you know, being clear within. And so for me, I kind of go, right, what does my heart desire? Well, first off, we need peace and calm and space and light for every aspect of this reality, this planet, this collective you know, experience that we're going through. And so my intention and my heart's desire is just to spread light and peace, right? Now, I haven't really gone about that in the right way over the past 4 years through my sort of sense of panic of wanting to wake other people up. And there's nothing wrong with waking people up, but you can wake people up by saying nothing and just being. You know, I go out to a lot of places by myself. I'm pretty much always on my own. And I sit and I listen and I talk to people. But I kind of lately, I just think, okay, I'm just going to sit and be and listen and send out love to the people that I'm hearing. And I've noticed a shift. And it's not just because of the work I'm doing, it's because of the work we're all doing. You know, I noticed that when I listen to the few people that I trust and listen to, we're always kind of saying the same thing. We always seem to be on the same page. And so, yeah, your intention and your heart's desire, keep it simple and focus on one thing at a time and allow that thing to manifest before we move on to the next thing. But even if you're just wanting to manifest love and light, peace and joy, that is just the most amazing, perfect thing to focus on and do your meditations on. So that's the first thing. There are 6 things here that I've written down that will help us to achieve these higher levels, right? And maintain existing in them. Remember, we are at the center. We're always at the center. You're not going anywhere. You're always in the center. It just looks like you're going places because you know, the movie screen is changing according to the frequency that you're vibrating at that allows you to see what's really around you. That's why ghosts are in a different frequency. They're in a different dimension, which is why they're not fully able to come into our reality, much like fairies. And the sun at the moment in England isn't able to fully come into our reality because there's such a heavy frequency band being kind of like really, and I know it's the whole world, but I'm in England, so I refer to England and I refer to me because I can't really talk about anyone else's experience except my own, right? So in order to hold the intention, it's very important. Secondly, number 2, purification and detoxification. And everybody's talking about the physical vessel, detoxing the vessel, getting rid of the heavy metals and all that. And yes, this is very important, but it's not the be all and end all. It's almost like it's not the last thing, but it's the kind of smallest aspect. The most powerful aspect being to purify and detoxify your thoughts and your mind, to become a gatekeeper at the doors of your mind. It's so they're so sneaky, these thoughts, the way that they come in. And then one minute you're in a good space, and the next minute something happens, and then you're in a downward spiral, and the thoughts are coming in, and the emotions are coming, and then something else pops in. Oh yeah, that woman did that as well, and that thing happened, and oh no, I've got to do this. And the next thing you know, you're back down in that 3-dimensional contributing more negative, more confusion, more sorrow, more despair, more anger, more everything negative to the the collective field for other souls to pick up on. It's how it works, The thoughts are energy. Once they've left you, they're not a thought so much anymore as a frequency, which will be attracted to a similar thought frequency that somebody else is having. Our brains are antennas, and they're constantly, sorry, they're constantly, looking around to see, like I said, with the pregnant women, okay, where are the other, oh, look, there's a pregnant one. You'll start seeing the things that are in you, the things that you're thinking about, the things you're feeling. That's why it's so important to be in charge of your vessel, to understand this is sacred technology. You don't get a better spaceship than this. And it's incredible. And so many people hate on their bodies and hate the vessel and all this talk about transhumanism and like the human body is not good enough and it was a mistake. And if you're suffering with your vessel, it's because you've created that within yourself. Did you eat loads of sweets and junk food when you were younger? And, are you around lots of toxic energy that causes you to hold on to emotions? Because those emotions, there's that energy, it's the same as your physical body. Everything's atoms, everything's energy, everything. And so that's going to attract more, isn't it? And then you're just going to be piling on the weight because it's all trapped within. You're just creating this kind of like, bubbling reality of negativity and it's wreaking havoc with the vessel, and your vessel, the form, isn't able to express itself because it's not your frequency. It's a fake frequency from a fake reality that's got into your brain, got into all of our minds, and it's holding us down and it's sucking us down. And this is the real battle. This is the real spiritual battle. It is within. It's not out there. It's in here. And it's in here. And it's about aligning and doing anything you can to protect yourself. And that initial, pulling away from the fake matrix and starting to kind of look at it and go, oh, whether it's, noticing that your spouse is a narcissist who's been literally sucking your energy like a vampire for the past 30 years, or it's ungrateful children who are completely wokeified and are arguing with you, and you feel powerless to stand up against that, it's satanic onslaught. It's an energy. It's just an energy that's just discordant. It's about, really, dear? Okay. Is that what you think? All right. That's your view. I completely honor your view. I don't agree with it, but that's okay. I'm not here to argue. It's your view. This is mine. I wish you love and light, and to not be sarcastic and to not be kind of, bitter or off, to mean it, to just mean, okay, yeah, I see you. Yeah, I get where you're at. And it's okay. It's not for us to change others. It's for us to inspire others through our actions. And also to know that, like I said, when you pop your head up above the parapet, as I don't know who said that recently, might have been, David Wilcock, or who was talking about the fear? Oh no, it was the books. It was in the Joseph books, the minute you pop your head up as a light, you're going to be attacked. And so it's about having the full armor of God and being able to ignore it because it's all frequency, and you absolutely have the power to transmute that. It's just that we choose to go into woe is me, no hope, it's all dark, it's over, I just want to leave, I want to get out of here. You're never getting out of here, wherever here is, unless you see here. You think when you die, you're going to escape. No, you're just going to come back. You're going to be back in the same kind of reality. All right. It's going to be a little bit better because there has been a lot of work done by the kind of light of the collective, the lighthouses, to dismantle and transmute a lot of the, really gnarly frequencies, or, the tricksters. But it doesn't matter how easy we make, or how easy things are in the collective. If you haven't gone through this purification, detoxification of your thoughts and and the energy in your being, and found all the trapped, blocked energy and released it so more light can come in, you're not going to experience anything higher. I think I've just confused myself again. But anyway, so number one, be clear about your intention and your heart's desire, even if it's just to be in a world of peace. And then secondly, you have to purify and detox your thoughts in order to allow that to germinate. Number three, something that a friend of mine in a group, Harry, talks a lot about is the stillness, you know. And we do talk about this in the group a lot. And something that I am very focused on is creating a technique for people to be able to just relax. This is the kind of root of everything. If you need to take stock of your life, or you need to just find out who you are, you know, that the first step to going within is being able to calm your central nervous system. Which I forgot to do. Taking a few deep breaths and then allowing your head. And when you roll your neck, you don't have to go like push it all the way around. It's just about allowing it to drop where it can, and then just allowing it to go, because it massages the base of your skull where the cerebrospinal fluid is coming in and out, and it just gives a little pumping action, as does breathing, as does suspended breath. Will push up your the cerebrospinal fluid. It's a whole process which I'm still working on finalizing for people who haven't got a clue. And I really want this to be a powerful technique that people can use to get straight away into a space of calm, and to do for others in what's coming up. I think we know it's going to get a bit kind of dark, right? So I want to teach people a technique called cortices, which I have a video actually below. There is a video about this, which is the tapping on the brain to stop the frequency signals from coming in. You're just putting a temporary block on that for your own field. You're tapping on your heart to kind of open up the, right, look, I'm going to create a new program now, and I want you to integrate it. And then you tap on the stomach, the navel, to integrate it into the 3D physical. And then that way you're able to embody whatever it is that you're trying to align within yourself. There's a whole process which I'm going to talk about. So stillness, cultivating stillness and patience with yourself, right? There's a lot of people talk about ascending and talk about these amazing blissful experiences when I was meditating, blah blah blah, but nobody's really talking about how you really get there, and you know, the things necessary. So stillness and patience with the self, because it takes time. It's a slow building up of muscles that we have not used, and talents and skills and abilities we didn't even know about until now. All right, we're babies, we're little babies stumbling out into this new reality, which isn't new. It's always been there. We just got separated for a bit. And so the fourth thing is visioning and manifesting joy in whatever way. I'm just summarizing what I've been talking about. From nothing but your connection through your heart to the God spark, which is done through breath work, meditation, and imagining. All right. Spend time every day to dream, you know, and it can be anything as long as it makes you feel good, right? So some days I'll go and look up super yachts. I'd love to live on a big yacht. It would be awesome, you know, when all this is over and we all go off in our little teams. I'd love to be on a big yacht, hanging out, diving in the sea, swimming with the dolphins, and, you know, just being in joy. Why not? We don't have to live this world in this world the way it's been constructed, because it's so limiting and unattractive and cold and stuck. I mean, it's just insane how we've been living in this reality. And, you know, I go around kind of like talking about my vision of the future all the time because I know that this makes it manifest, right? Because where two or more gather in the spoken word. And I'm literally convincing people about this amazing things that are coming, right? So the TR-4B spacecraft that get you to America from England in 10 minutes. Look, I want to go on the crafts that go to Venus. I've said this before, and it's going to happen because it's there. There's a dimension of all the planets that we can go and exist, and it's beautiful. Apparently, Venus. I remember. I remember how amazing Venus is. I want to go back. I think that's why I've never felt quite comfortable or happy here. I've looked at everything, even sunsets. I'm sometimes a bit disappointed. Is that it? Because there's supposed to be so much color everywhere. The sky is meant to be one constant aurora, you know, aurora borealis. It is. The whole sky is supposed to be like that. At least indigo, almost black blue above us on a sunny day. It's not supposed to be this pale blue. But you know what? I like the pale blue. I love it. We like the light. We like the sun. However it's coming in, we are grateful for it. But it's more than that. And, you know, I just encourage everyone to dream big. It's so important. Anything is possible. Open yourselves up. So yeah, visioning and manifesting joy, whether you dance around the kitchen or you just talk to somebody, bring yourself out of yourself and try to bring joy into someone else's life. Even if it's takes it out of you, it will shift your frequency. And number 5 is detachment from the vision, from the dream, from the desire. Because if you're attached to it, you're going to want it. And it's about just experiencing what we create. And we're supposed to constantly create. And as we keep creating, the things that we've just previously, you know, thought created are going to show up. And then we're going to create more from that. And we look at it and we go, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Or I might adjust this bit here. And that's how it's supposed to work. How often have you ended up with a car or a dress or a house or a partner that is not really in alignment with your highest dreams, and but you may do because you think, well, this is, you know, what I've got, this is what I deserve, this is and it is what you've manifested, only because you don't believe there's something more, something higher, something greater. And there is. This is hell. We're kind of in hell. I'm sure it gets a little bit worse, but we're kind of in the lowest realms that you could possibly be. And we are now being invited to step into our power and our light. And I know people keep saying it. And I know if you're new to all of this, it's just, oh, shut up, go away. That's the field. That's the negative, half-formed entities of the field trying to save themselves because these half-formed entities that we created are stuck here. It's kind of a bit unfair, isn't it, that we baby angels created a load of half-formed negative entities and we think we're going to ascend and leave them here. No, we have to transmute, we have to talk to them, we have to connect to them, we have to assist them to the light. These are not these addictions and thought patterns and stuff, these attachments. We created them. We have to let them go. They're not just going to disappear. There is going to be a frequency shift that is going to make it a lot easier, and it is occurring. And now is a time to do all this because it's a lot easier to work through stuff and to kind of catch a wave, you know, a wave of light heading to the kingdom from whence we came. That looked a bit cringe, didn't it? Anyway, never mind. So I hope this is all making sense. So, but we have to have detachment, because if we're expecting things to happen in a certain way in this realm, we're limiting the possibilities of how our heart's desire is going to show up, which is why, again, you know, thinking about the boat, the yacht, you know, to take it to a really creative level and a level that can't be denied, can't be answered, can't be given, sorry, can't not be given, can't not be answered, is to actually, you know, analyze the feeling that it is that you're after, the experience that you're after. It's not the boat, it's not the yacht, it's not the horse, it's not the car, it's not the holiday, it's not the date, it's not the child, it's not the handbag, the perfume, the lip injections, the friends. It's none of that. It's about, how do these things make you feel, or how are you expecting them to make you feel? And I think the answer to all of it is we want to feel bliss and joy and happiness and contentment and a sense of achievement and a sense that we've progressed, a sense that we're experiencing and learning from our experiences, and then taking those experiences to create more experiences with other baby angels and gods. We're supposed to be one giggling mass of creation, joyful, blissful, glorious, golden creation of the most non-stop, beautiful, incredible manifestations in the realm that, you know, our days are spent tripping through light and loving people and thanking them and marveling at what they created, instead of being jealous or feeling like, how come they can do it and I can't? What's wrong with me? And hey, I can take the piss because that's me as well. And I hate myself when I'm in that space. And I still find myself in that space when the clouds come. Oh no, what have I done to deserve this? Nothing. It's just happening. You can change your view of it if you want. And it's not about, oh, I can manifest a blue sky and the sun, but I can make the clouds more romantic, right? I can cozy up and do some studying, or I can get on with some house tasks that need to be done. Because, by the way, the cleaner your house and your environment, again, you're going to have more light. Sorry, I do realize that I had these 6 points and I'm going on a lot of them and I'm kind of digressing within each of them, but that's because nothing in this reality is truly as it was. And so quite often what I'm talking about sounds a bit disjointed and a bit all over the place, because in the true reality, it is all multidimensional. And I think my brain is kind of half there, but I'm staying here for a bit to help people get across the finish line with me. All right. I'm like going, I'll be a little team leader, not because I'm better or worse, we're all equal, but just because for some reason I've had an experience in my life and, you know, I happen to be half a century plus at this point, and it just, as a divine feminine, all the signs are there, where I'm situated on the planet, the people I have around me, and, you know, the battle of wills that goes on within me, for me to be able to emanate light as a part of, as opposed to fear. All right. That's all my mission is, to be a light. And however that, and I know that when I do that, when I get into the feeling of that, because it's about the feeling, not the objects or the situations, it's about the feeling of having good friends around you, or the feeling of being on a boat, or the feeling of riding a horse, the feeling of having a new outfit, or whatever it is, right? But we should be thinking more about the feeling of helping others, the feeling of watching somebody's face as the light switches on and they realize, I mean, that's the most priceless feeling. We are here. It is an escape mission. We have to get out of this three-dimensional reality that has trapped us. And we're on our way. I mean, look how far we've come in the past, it's in 4 years. It's insane. None of us, if you're listening to this, are the same, you know? And I think the last stumbling block is that full acceptance of, you know, self-responsibility, and recognizing that we have to become masters of the self. And so the number 6 is related to that, is being the light that is so desperately needed. I saw a quote, I think I've already put this in one of my other videos, but I'm going to put it here again. If you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. Costs nothing, right? And it can mean everything. It could be the difference between somebody not committing suicide when they go home. A smile and, hey, how are you? Hope you're okay. I talk to people all the time. Quite often they don't really want to talk back. Everybody, I think words got around. I'm the crazy cat conspiracy crochet lady. Although I have to say, I think people are starting to kind of warm up a little bit now, and that's good. So yeah, if you see someone without a smile, and underpinning, give them one of yours. Sorry, need to slow down. And underpinning all of this is, this whole experience that we're in now is truly only about remembering who we are. That's the kind of rescue mission modus operandi at the moment. It's not really so much about even creating new realities yet, because we don't quite have a balance in the field of the positive and negative. We're still very much negative, and and there are people around the planet trying to inject sparks of light. But again, the minute you pop your head up and do that, it's like get shot at. Although that's becoming less as well, because there'll come a point where it will just beep, and everything will just be solar flare. This is how I see it happening as our consciousness rises, because we're all one, it's all connected. People are waiting for the solar flare. How about if the solar flare is waiting for us? All right. And also, it's about honoring the souls that we are too as we make our way back home. All right. We were projected into existence as a spark, with a God spark in here, in the pineal, an actual little chip of God, a little spark of the actual creator. So we can communicate. It's a radio, it's a two-way connection to God. But we've been told it's one way, or that we need somebody in between to translate for us, because us little plebby peasants are not able to talk to the God within. They've separated us from ourselves. No wonder everybody's so angry and full of rage and sorrow and sadness and despair, and feels lost and wandering, because we've been lied to by those of us who refuse to do the work. All right. So we're in this kind of fallen quadrant of the multiverse, which has been quarantined, but not for much longer. We're getting closer. It's getting easier. It's getting lighter. And we're on a rescue mission. But each of us has to rescue ourselves and then help to guide others. That's it. We're not even here to rescue other people, only ourselves, and then to light the way for others. That's it. Okay. And we all have to be at different levels and places depending on our ages, because if everybody was at the same level, you wouldn't see anything. You wouldn't experience anything, because it would all just be the same light. It would be the same color. It would be like everything would just be purple, or everything would just be yellow, or everything would just be dark, whatever. We need all those different colors, and it's infinite. Even each bandwidth of color within it has infinite gradations, and color on the other side of the veil is completely different. It's almost alive. You have colors that blend and become other colors and change, and it's just such a truly magical place to be, and I can't wait for us to all be there. So I know it's a lot. Please write a comment if you think I'm going too fast or too slow, or if it's too high, or there's anything that you want to be explained in a bit more detail. I am trying to kind of channel in a lot of information through lots of different frequencies as I've come to understand it. And it might not resonate with you. Even the sound of my voice might irritate you. The color pink might irritate you. That's just a sign that this particular channel isn't for you. It's not your particular vibration. All right. So I resonate with the angelic realm, the cherubim realm in particular, here as a messenger connected to Archangel Gabriel, and my mate Saint Germain, although I sometimes feel he gets a bit frustrated with me. And I know they don't get frustrated, but Saint Germain's done so much work and gone through so much to get us to where we are right now. And I believe that Mr. T is Saint Germain. And I'm going to talk more about that later. For now, I'm going to stop talking. I had which means it's time to stop. I'm just going to quickly go over the 6 things. I'm going to write them down below. And I'm just going to say that it doesn't feel like we're these divine baby God creators, because why are we here? Why does it look so awful? But as I explained, if you've had a negative thought in your life ever, if you've ever said, I hate you, or you know, got sucked into drama or gossiped. You don't have to be a murderer or a criminal. Just gossip. Gossip alone is probably one of the most insidious forms of thought hijacking. All right. And be careful what you hear people say about people too. Always wait until you have your own evidence before you make choices and decisions about people. So, number one, intention, heart's desire. Number two, purification, detoxification. Practice stillness, cultivate patience. Is number three. And number four, vision, dream, daydream, let go, and be as wild as you can. And in that, though, also practice number five, detachment. You're not attached to the outcome. You're just trying to cultivate the feeling, okay? Which could be of love, joy, peace, unity, all right? It's a feeling, not a thing. And finally, be the light that is so desperately needed to balance the polarity of the field, okay? I've even got a pink book. So the field is negatively charged, we have to put positive charge into it, which means that, even if I receive negative comments here or whatever, I have to see it as another soul who's lost and in pain, and that I have agreed to hold space for, like you would with naughty children who are having tantrums and know that they made a mistake, but just can't admit it. This is where the majority of people who are trapped in the mire and the darkness, the ever-darkening matrix, the 3D matrix, that's where they are, all right? And the more of us that can get out of it, the lighter it gets. So we have a duty, and also, it benefits us to help others, because what do we want? We want the light, we want the balance, we want freedom and sovereignty, true sovereignty, cosmic sovereignty. It's not about XRP. I do understand that the Rainbow Bridge to go from 3D to 5D requires things like cryptocurrency, possibly, but ultimately it's about sacred energy exchanges, right? It's nothing, you can't put a number, you can't put a monetary value onto anything. It's also arbitrary and subjective and ridiculous. But unfortunately, we're trapped kind of in the moment in this reality where that's how things work. But people are starting to realize it doesn't. So I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to keep doing the videos when I feel called, and I'm just going to keep repeating the same thing over and over again until it starts to sink in. And I'll write down the name of the Joseph Communications so that those of you who feel called can go and check it out. Literally the most humble series of books, and they were brought through by the channeler and his crew in the most humble way. My hat goes off to the there's more than four people that were involved in bringing these books out, and apparently they've done pretty well. Like, there's loads of people who've been reading them. The last one was written in 2019 and is called The Spaces Between, and it's about the fairies and the demons and everything, and how it's all connected to our own frequency, our own belief systems and our own thoughts, which is why the matrix is constantly feeding us full of the negative and the low vibrations, like they are in England right now. My friend said in Liverpool it wasn't that bad, the riots were not like they're saying. So I think it's all a bit of acting. All right, so pay no attention and just focus on where you're at and what's around you, and injecting as much love and light into that, because that is everything. Going outside of yourself and trying to inject light, or being a martyr, or sacrificing, or being miserable, not taking time for yourself, that's not the way to go, and it does nothing to help the collective. It just adds to the frequency, right? So all the stories, all the narratives, the names, the English language, the numbers, everything, all the countries, all the race, everything goes, everything. And all that's left is we need to be at the frequency and the vibration and have the energy that allows the true divine form to actually erupt out of the very kind of ether that's all around us. All right. That's why these amazing divine beings emit a fragrance of perfume or flowers, because their frequency is so high that the realm that they see, that's what's all around them. And so, of course, that's going to be emanating from them. It's not actually so crazy. It's not magic. It's not something that's inattainable, unattainable, unobtainable, whatever. It's something we can all experience, but it has to start here. The feeling starts and then the rest follows. Okay. So for anyone that's listening and is enjoying the content and wants to hear more, thank you. And thanks for being here. I feel the energy and truly I'm just here to serve as much as I can. Don't want to be a martyr. And sometimes I might come on and moan and groan and whatever, but I'll be back in the light as much as I can. So I will speak to you soon. And I am sending everybody much love and light. I do like to send out some gold and silver light with a bit of Tiffany blue because I love those colors. Okay. And love yourself, forgive yourself, and know you are absolutely a child.